Chris, you mentioned surrounding yourself with smart people.
And you're one of them, Scott.
I know, thank you. I'm flattered. So if you could expand a little bit more on, you obviously surrounding yourself with smart people. How are you recruiting new people into the industry, and then some of the challenges you face in doing so?
So we were actually talking about this a little bit last night, and we've been talking about it within our own organization. And as we've been going through a transition in leadership with upcoming retirements, recruitment is huge. In fact, I was telling Scott and a couple others last night, I'm a little challenged by it and kind of nervous because while there are, people with tremendous talent that is in this room and in this industry, the ability for people to relocate compared to 20 years ago is much more of a challenge. You have double incomes, the whole work-life balance is now different, and so it becomes a real challenge to recruit. So we really have to look at how can we set ourselves apart to want people to come to work for each one of our companies, and how can we continue then, once we have somebody that we see as a high potential within our organization, continue to keep them challenged. Because, my career path was, I was very blessed and very fortunate. But, the career path of people being content with working in the same job for 10 years or 15 or 20 years is not there anymore. People come into a job and with 18 months, 2 years, they're ready for the next challenge. And it may not mean a promotion, but we have to, as leaders, figure out a way to at least challenge that people, or else they become stagnant and look for something else to do. And maintaining those good people and continuing to surround yourself is you definitely don't want to lose them. So you got to figure out a way to challenge. And Scott, that's a work in progress, but it's something that I think we all have to continue to be aware of, especially within this industry. How do we continue to recruit people just to this industry as a whole? Yeah. And by the way, I really think that the 30 under 35 has been a huge, lift for this industry, because it brings an opportunity for people to be recognized, and it really brings an awareness to what the career opportunities are within the electrical distribution industry. So
I think one of the biggest struggles we have is people don't understand our industry. People coming out of college, what's electrical distributor? You sell, like we're in a utility or something. We distribute electricity. And NAED has a good video. What's the video, Brian? You've got the introductory video. I can't remember the name of it. But
the World of Distribution.
Yeah. They put out a good video, kind of that you could, if you bring somebody in to interview and they don't understand, you can show them a quick video and clip, and very professionally done. And it's got other distributor companies that are in this room probably that are in it, and kind of describes, so kind of gives some credibility to what we do, and kind of gives an explanation. But it's very difficult to find and keep good people. If we go through an extensive interviewing and we do testing and all that type of thing once we get people, and it's worked well over the years. We have a very high retention rate once we get people to work with us. We're not that big of a company, but we have 35% of our people have been with us 20 years or more. We have actually 8 people that have been with us 30 years, and 2 more on top of that have been with us 40 years. And so that's why we struggle with the new technology, because we've got a bunch of old people in our company. But the reason we're able to keep them is because in the selection process, we really try to line up, we go through the interviewing and the testing and everything else, really make sure that it's going to fit with them, it's going to be a good fit. And then once we get them, we try to keep a track of what's happening in the market area in terms of pay, and try to keep ourselves, we want to, have the best people and pay them the best. So we try to keep our rates for the different jobs in our market, above what the market rate is. And then the real challenge, as mentioned up here, is really trying to keep people moving to the best that they possibly can do within what they are able to do, and keep presenting the opportunities and the challenges for them. And that can be difficult at times, because I mean, we have a guy that's been with us for a long time, and he's been a truck driver and whatever, and it's getting kind of hard. He wanted to be in purchasing, and it's really, he would not be a good purchasing person. So it's a delicate situation to try to keep that person happy and challenged when he kind of was like to try something else, but that we don't think he could be successful in. So,
can I jump in the middle here quick? I was kind of going to ask the same question that Scott asked, but along with the recruiting, you kind of touched on it, that we have a struggle with our industry having kind of I hear a lot, oh, it's not a glamorous industry, but it's a good industry, it's a strong industry. How do we, as the next generation, on the heels of you guys' success, how do we promote this as a strong, awesome industry to be a part of? Because it obviously is. I mean, everybody that's in it loves to be in it. And how do we change the face of that industry? Is there a way we can improve that?
I have an idea. I think we all should do this, but especially the younger generation. I would love to see the younger generation in this group here be challenged with this very question. Maybe it's a mega topic that can be worked on to really bring interest and move the needle in this area, so we can start educating those that are in high school. There should be an opportunity. I think we all are connected to some high school somewhere along the way through our children or through our family members, where we can possibly have a career day spot where we can do an announcement or advertise our industry and the fact that there is a career path, there's a huge educational experience in our industry, and it's a good industry to be a part of. But I think we have to really put our words into motion and have something that possibly we create with the NAED staff, and it's something we can go play that one video that's already been created. That video is fantastic. I would love to start going out to schools at the high school level, and maybe even younger, to start teaching people about our industry. I think there's a lot of feet that could be on the street that we're not doing, and we could make a difference. I think it might be kind of fun to challenge ourselves with it.
Hi, my name is Stephen Brewster. I'm from Houston. I work for Ideal. And my question is I was just kind of curious, what being leaders of a company, kind of what your viewpoint was on master's degrees and extended education, if it's valuable or if it's, if it's more industry experience that you look for. And on top of that, if it is important, what are some areas that you think that a master's degree really makes a difference versus other areas?
At our company, we try to focus on the actual person as opposed to the degree. A lot of our people working for us now do have college degrees, but it's not been a requirement from us. As far as a master's degree, we have a couple people in our company who have master's degrees. They're more in a managerial role, and I myself, I got a master's, and it was very helpful to me because I found, even though, my undergrad, undergrad in business also, my undergrad in business, when I got the master's, it really focused in a lot more detail. We did a lot more group projects and things, so it's definitely beneficial for me. But I don't necessarily think you need a lot of people for definitely a higher leadership position. The master's would be great, but I don't think it's necessarily a requirement. For mid-level type things, like I said, when we're hiring people, we focus more on the person, the interview, and their skills and intelligence, that type of thing, as opposed to having industry background or experience. We value, because we feel that there's enough in our company with our manufacturers and with NAED training and stuff that we can train them about our products and that type of thing. We're really looking for the type of people for the type of job. And of course, those are different requirements for a purchasing agent than, let's say, a salesperson. So So I guess the master's question in my mind would probably be if somebody was going for a management type position, especially, we're a small company, so in the larger companies, I can't answer for that, but I would think that it certainly wouldn't hurt.
I don't have a master's degree, and I certainly would not discourage that. I think it would be very beneficial to you, and it certainly cannot hurt at all. But I also look at what's your work ethic, what's your attitude, because you can attend college for 4 years, 6 years, however long you want to go, but if you don't have a strong work ethic and great attitude, all that education is really meaningless. And again, I'm not suggesting that you don't get your degree, but I'm just a firm believer in you've got to have a great attitude and a great work ethic, and that will take you a long way.
One thing I'd like to add is I think it's incredibly important for people to have at least a business degree in our industry. I think that we've, at some point, maybe we just settle for mediocrity rather than pushing us to be better educated. And I think that we should also look at the power of education. And especially with a business degree, one thing that I've realized, we've hired people without business degrees before, and sure, they're a graduate from college, but in what? And do they really understand the cycle of business? Mm-hmm. And what decisions are they making, or what are some of the things they're saying when they don't understand the cycle of business? They don't understand financials. They don't understand things that they really need to understand in business. So I'm a firm believer of a business degree. Mine is in finance and marketing. So I kind of did that at the time because we needed that help at the time when I went to school as I was working. But it's hugely beneficial. When it comes to the master's degrees, I think that they too can be beneficial depending on the focus that someone is going toward, and is that applicable to the business. So thank you for the question.
Good afternoon. My name is Josh Ramirez with One Source Distributors. Thank you for being here this afternoon and providing your time and energy with this whole transfer of knowledge session. Speaking of transfer of knowledge, do you guys have an established process? If you do or you don't, doesn't matter, but how do you transfer your tacit knowledge or life experience to a potential up-and-coming replacement? For example, Pete mentioned, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, you had that experience in the warehouse where someone quit and you made a switch with regards to managing. Now, had I not been here to hear the story, I wouldn't be able to take that bit of knowledge, that life experience, and apply it to my own style. So how do you do that proactively within your own organization?
I think it's a daily work in process. Every day, as I walk around the company and see different things going on, then if I see something that is, doesn't look right or needs a little, teaching or whatever, I'll just bring the person to my office and I'll go through and explain something. It's kind of interesting. The speaker this morning was really good. I loved what he said. I wish I could do everything all the time what he said, but one of the things he said is to, kind of explain things in stories and anecdotes and that type of thing. And so I will try to bring people in if I see some behavior that can be changed or something that a person can be better in terms of managing or whatever they're doing their job. I will kind of bring them in and just kind of subtly, I might explain some goof up that I did at one time and how it corrected, and just hopefully be able to catch the message that I'm related to them. But I try to do that on a daily basis, day in and day out with all of our people, and hopefully they're learning as things are going along, and also sharing I think it's much easier. I know it's much easier to learn from somebody else's goof up than from your own, and it's important that you learn from all of them. But if I can, over the years I've seen different people do different things, and I said, boy, I sure don't want to do that, and I haven't had to make that mistake myself. On the other hand, I've made mistakes and had to learn myself. But so anything that I can share with them to help them, I try to do on a daily basis.
We don't have a real formalized like mentoring program or anything like that, but certainly we take the opportunity, like Pete was saying, to share experiences. I always know that if I have some sort of challenge or whatever, I can go to a number of people within our organization to bounce ideas off. Hey, how would you handle this? Have you ever been faced with this? But it's not just I'm going to try to gain past experience for that transfer of knowledge. I also want to be educated on newer things. In other words, I'm not going to our people only that have had the 40 plus years experience. I want to know what's going on with associates that have 1 or 2 years experience as well. So it's a transfer of knowledge for me on both sides of the coin. And I think it's just something that as an organization you either do or you don't. I don't know how to express it any differently than that. I think if you truly care about the longevity and the relevancy of your organization and your people, you're going to take the time, like Pete says, to just do that on a daily basis.
And to add on to that, I think I'll echo what Hutch said. He disappears for a while. You're not always there to be the one to teach. Sometimes they have to experience what you had the opportunity to experience in order for you to pass on that knowledge. I think that's, again, delegating and disappearing, I think sometimes is really helpful. When you think you need to be there, just try not being there once to see what happens.
I'm going to disappear more often.
Yeah, there we go. Yay, golf. Golf, anyone? Just teasing.
I think, too, what I see happening, I know what happens with these guys' companies. I think they're modeling leadership and successful behavior just in the way they come to work every day, the way they wander around, the way they approach people. I think a lot of that is just modeling. I mean, you guys are models. Anyone comes up to you, you're open, you're transparent, you share with them, you're there to help them. They see when you have a family issue that you are not at work. You are with your family. That's all modeling correct behavior and doing the right thing. And when you terminate an employee, they see that you do it fairly. They see that, wow, that's the right way to do things like that. So I think that's a lot how you kind of impart all of our wisdom on other people. Yeah, it's amazing. You're gonna wake up and look in the mirror, and you're gonna be 60 years old, and you're gonna go, wow, it's over.
I hope not.
How did I get to be 60? And then you start thinking back and you start looking at all the pictures from all the leadership conferences you went to, and you're going to go back to this day and go, I remember I learned something at that conference and how I applied it and what happened. I'm really glad I went. And you're going to go back. It's all going to happen, and it's going to happen in a flash. And you guys have this terrific opportunity to take all the things you've learned these few days and go apply it. And not that we still can't do that, because we do. But it's just it's looking at life from a different perspective. We don't know. We don't have all the answers. We're learning just as much as you guys are every day. And that's what makes it so much fun. So.
All right, I think that's about all we have for time. All right, well, thanks everybody for the great questions in the audience, and a special thanks to our awesome panel. Very, very good job.